Okay. So we have discussed name of books that day. Gavkar is a very basic book and a very good book of microprocessor. It's a standard book, and generally all universities, all colleges use this book, Microprocessor Architecture, Programming and Application with 885. Nagurkani is a very good book which gives you more problem and solution to the questions of microprocessor. It is having microcontroller, but microcontroller is not there in your syllabus. Okay. And then APAL, BRAM, there are so many books you can use. And if you want, I can share the soft copy of this books I'm having. So basic microprocessor we have discussed. Microprocessor is a programmable device where you can program according to your requirement. So it is a programmable, multi-purpose clock-driven register-based electronic device that reads binary instructions from a storage device called memory, accepts binary data as input, and processes data according to those instructions and provides results as output. This we have discussed that day. This is the block diagram of a microcomputer. Microcomputer, what we can say, it is a whole device which is having input, output, memory unit. But one of its main major element is your microprocessor, which will perform all the arithmetic operations which we want to run in the device. That will be done. That means we can say it is the brain of your system, microprocessor. So microprocessor consists of ALU, arithmetic logic unit, control unit, register array. Register array means array we know. Series of elements connected together is an array. Register means where the data will be stored in the form of binary zeros and ones. And you know how to design register because I think you have studied subject digital electronics. There you have studied flip-flops. Why this voice and noise is coming, please? Students, have you muted your mic? Because disturbance is coming. I told you I'm using my mobile data. Many students joined. So this is my microprocessor consists of ALU, control unit, register array. Microcomputer consists of input device. What do you mean by input device? Input device is a device through which we will give some input values to perform. Output device is a display unit, you can say. It could be a printer, you can print the output. It could be a display unit like monitor screen, it could be TV, it could be anything which will give you the output. Memory unit, which will store, preserve the data within it. So that is my memory unit. So next we will discuss block diagram of microprocessor. So this is a very, I must say, this is a very small diagram which will just illustrate regarding microprocessor. So microprocessor consists of CPU, means it's ALU, which is having registers and control signals. Here then it is having a small inbuilt memory. Input and output device will be connected externally. Okay? Through this data bus, we will share the data zeros and ones, the address will be transferred from one end to other end by using this data bus. Address bus will give you the address from which memory location you want to take the data. Memory location could see here everything is in hexadecimal. All the memory location are given in hexadecimal terms. So 4 zeros to 4F. 0000 hex to FFF hex is the memory. So address bus will assign that address through which we want to communicate the data which is stored in that memory location. Control bus will control whether the address is to be identified or data is to be transferred. So it will manage that, and this is my whole system bus. So a microprocessor consists of an ALU, control unit, and register array. See, this is very basic. In detail, we will discuss in after some classes. So ALU performs arithmetic logical operation. Control unit controls the instructions and flow of data within the computer and register. Array consists of registers identified by letters. See, there is a register array which is having, see why students are leaving the class. This is not good. Please continue with the class. So register array consists of B, C, D, E, H, L and accumulator. This you have to remember. What are the names of the registers which are identified in microprocessor 8085. So now we will discuss evolution of microprocessor. So we know there are so many generations in family also we do have generation. Our great grandfather, our great grandfather, our father, we used to say there is a generation gap between me and my grandparents, between me and my parents. So likewise microprocessor is also having its own generations. So first we will discuss evolution of microprocessor. We can categorize microprocessor according to the generations or size of the microprocessor. You know, this 8085 microprocessor is a 8-bit processor. That means it can process till 8 bits of data. So this first generation microprocessor was invented. It consists of only a 4-bit data processing. So what is to be done here? Just 4-bit data will be processed. If I want to use more number of bits, then I have to repeat this operation again and again. So the first generation microprocessor was introduced in the year 1971-72 by Intel Corporation and was named as Intel 4004 since it was a 4-bit processor. It was a processor on a single chip. It could perform simple arithmetic and logical operations such as addition, boolean or AND operation. It had a control unit capable of performing control functions like fetching an instruction from storage memory, decoding it, and then generating control pulses to execute it. So it had a very basic things to be performed. Second generation was 8-bit microprocessor. The second generation microprocessor were introduced in 1973 by Intel. It could process 8-bit of data. So 4-bit data is known as nibble, 8-bit data is known as 1 byte. So it can process 1 byte of data. So first introduced Intel 8008 8-bit microprocessor. Third generation was 16-bit microprocessor where you can process 16. So day by day advancement in technologies enhance the capabilities of microprocessor. So third generation, fourth generation was 32-bit microprocessor, and here 8086 is the basic example. Likewise, we are having 8085 for 8-bit. Here we are having 8086 for 16-bit. So this is known as advanced microprocessor. Fourth generation 32-bit microprocessor. So names are very similar. 80 is common, 8085 for 8-bit, 8086 for 16-bit, 8386 for 32-bit. Now, the major throwback in your technology is fifth generation 64-bit microprocessor. So from 95 to now, we are in the fifth generation. After 8586, Intel came out with a new processor, namely Pentium processor. You all know this processor. You have heard in our computers we are using Pentium processor, followed by Pentium Pro CPU, which allows multiple CPUs in a single system to achieve multi-processing. Other improved 64-bit processors are Celeron, Dual, Quad. These are the examples. And you can surf on net also. You will get images of all these processors also. Now important Intel microprocessor. So this is a chart which shows comparison is given over here. I must check number of participants. It is 38. Okay, right now. So microprocessor, see you can elaborate this chart. 4004 invention year, word length is 4-bit, memory addressing capacity is very less, that is only 1 kilobyte. So you can store only 1 KB of data by using this microprocessor. Number of pins, this is a IC, integrated circuit. IC chip is there which consists of only 16 pins. Clock frequency is 750 kilohertz. and this is the first microprocessor. Then 8085, which is we are studying in our syllabus, and a very basic microprocessor. So it is invented 1976. It is 8-bit, we all know, and data storage memory addressing capacity is 64 kilobyte. Number of pins are 40. Clock frequency is between 3 to 6 megahertz. It is a most popular 8-bit microprocessor. Then 8086, year 78. 16-bit is the word length. That means it can perform operation on 2 bytes of data. Directly, I can add 2 bytes of data over here. Well, in bits, its length is 16. Memory addressing enhanced to 1 megabyte. Then number of pins are same. Frequency is little bit changed, 5 to 8 megahertz, widely used in PCs and XT. Then 286, 16-bit, just memory, virtual memory is added over here. Number of pins has enhanced to 68. Clock frequency is 6 to 12.5 megahertz. Widely used. Next, 8386 contains MMU on chip, memory micro unit on chip. So, see, again the data is enhancing till 8386. Then the data bits are constant. From Pentium is also storing 32-bit of data. Pentium Pro is storing 32-bit of data. That means you can perform 32-bit addition, subtraction, or any arithmetic logical operation on this much bit length. So 4 GB real, 32-bit address, 64-bit data bus. Here data bus is increased. In 8085 we are having only 16 buses, where we can use 8 data buses to store the data, and 16 bits are used to address. So here we are having 64-bit data bus. So this shows you technology and advancement and enhancement both. Then Pentium Pro, Pentium 2, Pentium 3. You are IT students, so you should know all these technologies. You should know the processors which we are using currently in our computers, in our laptops. So you can check your laptops, which processor you are having. You can see its configurations and all. So Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4, and Titanium. So this is the advancement which you can study it later. Just very basic I have discussed right now. So next, these are the full forms. You can study it. Then you all know, I think, Moore's law. I think you have studied. The number of transistors in an integrated circuit doubles about every 2 years. Gordon Murray was actually the co-founder of Intel, and he predicted this in very early 19th century, that the number of transistors in an integrated circuit doubles about every 2 years. So what happens as complexity increases due to technology and advancement, IC chip fabrication technology, the size of the device has reduced. And you all know the size has reduced so much. And in this 2020 era, I must say, due to this COVID effect, all are using all the technologies, gadgets so very frequently, and again it is a big booster this year कि all are having, मेरे ख्याल से बहुत बच्चों ने भी अभी कुछ परचेज किए होंगे लैपटॉप्स, अच्छे मोबाइल्स, बिकॉज ऑनलाइन स्टडीज आर गोइंग ऑन in every sector. All the majority of population is working from home due to this scenario. So continuous, due to this advancement in technologies, we are becoming very much independent day by day. So this Gordon-Murray laws, you should remember. The number of transistors in an integrated circuit doubles about every 2 years. This you will, I don't think electronic students having VLSI subject, in that they study first the Murray's law, its graph, and then they study VLSI. Basic terms used in microprocessor. See, every language will have its own instruction set, its own clock speed, its own time cycle. So here for microprocessor, first we are defining instruction set. The group of commands that the microprocessor can understand is called the instruction set. Is it clear? The group of commands, that means if I want to add 2-bit data, I want to add two different data, so I will have some name of that instruction. Yeah, I want to perform addition, so I will use assembly language programming is used in 885 microprocessor. So here I will use add instruction to add 2-bit data. If I want to perform any logical operation, any arithmetic operation, then I will use that particular instruction name. So instruction set is defined thoroughly for this 8085 microprocessor. Then bus. What do we mean by bus? This I think we have discussed earlier also in previous class. Set of conductors intended to transmit data, address or control information to different elements in a microprocessor. A microprocessor will have three types of buses. We all have to remember: data bus, address bus, and control bus. Control bus, likewise in transportation system, we are having a bus in which data are the passengers which will move from one place to another. Address is the address or location. Here I want to go from Shastri Nagar to RC Vyas colony, so I have to identify the address. Control bus is your conductor, is your driver, which will carry on, which will drive the bus properly by sensing all the control units. So this is my bus. Then instruction per cycle. Every instruction running will take certain amount of time to run. So to run that time is known as a clock cycle. How much time is required? So that is known as instruction per cycle. It is a measure of how many instructions a CPU is capable of executing in a single clock. Is it clear? See students, do you have any doubt? Because I'm continuously moving. So if any doubt, I will pause here. Just wait if you want to discuss anything. Okay. So clock speed, instruction per cycle, then clock speed. What should be the speed of the microprocessor? How much time it will take? What will be its frequency? So the frequency of 885 we have discussed. It is from 3 to 6 gigahertz. So here I have mentioned the clock speed. It is a number of operations per second the processor can perform. It can be expressed in megahertz, gigahertz. It is also called the clock rate. So in IPC depends on my clock speed. What is the speed of my clock? Then the bandwidth. We all know bandwidth because we are IT students. For communication, for every data we want to transmit or receive, we need a bandwidth. Through that bandwidth only, our data will be communicated. So maximum bandwidth means maximum possible users are there and maximum data you can send or receive. So bandwidth, the number of bits processed in a single instruction, is called its bandwidth. Word length, the number of bits the processor can process at a time, is called the word length of the processor. 8-bit microprocessor may process 8-bit data at a time. The range of word length is from 4 bits to 64 bits depending on the type of the microcomputer which we are using. Next, data types. The microprocessor supports multiple data type formats like binary, ASCII, signed and unsigned numbers. So next we will discuss features of microprocessor. It is a versatile device because it is used in many applications. From single device to a very complicated device, from single user to multiple user, you can use this microprocessor. So features of microprocessor is low cost, high speed, small size, because you all know day by day we are using VLSI technology, ULSI, Ultra, VULSI technologies we are using. So day by day the size of the computer system is reduced. So very small size. Versatile, the same chip can be used for several applications. Low power consumptions, as we all know, semiconductor technology we are using. we are using MOS technology, which consumes very less power. So microprocessor using metal oxide semiconductor technology, which consumes very less power, less heat generation, reliable and portable. These are the advantages, features of microprocessor. So now we will discuss different types of microprocessor over here. So different types of microprocessor. The very basic microprocessor is my vector processor, which is a totally hardware approach. It is designed for vector computations. A vector is an array of operands of same type. See this you don't have to study thoroughly. Just a basic knowledge you should have. What are different types of microprocessor? If a short note is asked, you can write there are this types of microprocessors. So vector processor, these are the examples. That is, yeah, you know this name IBM, you know, few names you know, so you can recall the examples also. So here vector operation is performed wherever we are using vector operation, there we have to use a vector processor for computation. So a vector processor adds all the elements of vector A and vector B using a single vector instruction with hardware approach. Next, array processors or SIMD processor. I think you will be knowing these processors. Array processors are also designed for vector computation. The difference between an array processor and a vector processor is that a vector processor uses multiple vector pipelines, whereas an array processor employs a number of processing elements to operate in parallel. So array processor can operate parallelly, so it is much more beneficial and very faster than vector computation, vector processing. Next, an array processor contains multiple number of ALUs. Because it is a parallel processing, so we have to use many numbers of ALUs which can perform parallelly. Each ALU is provided with the local memory. The ALU together with the local memory is called a processing element. The ALU together with the local memory is called the processing element. So what is PE? PE, we are combining all the ALU with the local memory is known as PE. An array processor is a SIMD. What do you mean by SIMD? Single instruction, multiple data processor. See students, have you prepared a copy? Or I am moving faster? Yes, I will provide you. But what I am asking to you, reply me whether you have prepared your copy or not. A single copy you can have all the subjects because बहुत ज़्यादा तो हमें लिखना नहीं है हमारी copies में, but at least major headings should be there कि ma'am has taught and we understood these things. So it will be very, see, exams होंगे नहीं होंगे हमें कुछ भी नहीं पता है, and we should not be that much materialistic कि exam होंगे तभी हम पढ़ेंगे. We have to study for our knowledge. We have to be a better person. We have to improve our knowledge as an engineering student. सो फॉर दैट यू हैव टू स्टडी. वरना बच्चे सोचते एग्जाम तो हमें देना ही नहीं, हम क्यों पढ़े? पढ़ना हमें हमारा नॉलेज इंक्रीज करने के लिए है. एग्जाम होंगे नहीं तो प्लेसमेंट कभी नहीं मिलेगा तुम्हें तुम्हारे लाइफ में इफ यू विल नॉट स्टडी एंड यू विल नॉट यूटिलाइज दिस कोरोना टाइम. तो प्लीज यूटिलाइज दिस टाइम to improve your knowledge. And also, if you are having interest in any field, you are free to use this timing. So SIMD, single instruction multiple data processor. Thus, using a single instruction, ठीक है, the same operation can be performed on array of data which make it suitable for vector computation. I am using, say, subtraction operation and I have to perform 10 subtractions at a time. 10 datas are there, different 10 datas are there, P1, P2, Pn. This will be having different datas. Just only one control instruction I will give. So it will perform in all these PEs and you will get the output. So control element is one and there are many number of P's connected over here. Schematic diagram of array processor on SIMD processor. Scalar and superscalar processor. A processor that executes scalar data is called scalar processor. The simplest scalar processor makes processing of only integer instruction. See, all these processors are having very much limited access. So we are moving towards better processors. The simplest scalar processor makes processing of only integer instruction using fixed points operands. Operands we will come to know. What do you mean by operands? A powerful scalar processor makes processing of both integer as well as floating point numbers. So scalar processor processes both integer and floating point numbers. It contains an integer ALU and a floating point unit FPU. This is a new term. CPU we all know, central processing unit. One more ALU is added. It's not an ALU, it's a processing unit which will process floating point data. All maximum processors works on integer data, but this processor will work also on floating point numbers. A scalar processor may be RISC and CISC. Do you know what is RISC and CISC processor? As you are third year IT students, do you know RISC and CISC processor? नहीं पता है, I think. Okay. So it is RISC and CISC processor. Its full form is reduced and complex instruction set. So example of CISC processors are, these are the CISC processor example, Intel 386, 486 and Motorola. Examples of RISC scalar processors are Intel, Motorola. See, you should remember these are the very important processors because many technologies are improving in RISC and CISC processors. RISC stands for Reduced Instruction Set Computer and CISC stands for Complex Instruction Set Computer. By the name we can judge complexity is increasing in CISC processor and RISC is having a reduced form of instruction set. So there are two approaches of the design of the control unit of a microprocessor, that is hardware approach and software approach. So RISC processor क्या होता है? This we will come to know. To execute an instruction, a number of steps are required. We all know if I want to multiply two data, then what I will do, first I will initialize the data, then how we perform multiplication. If I want to multiply 86 into 26, I have to first use the LSB. LSB will be multiplied, the LSB of second number will be multiplied by the two numbers of your first data byte. Then shifting will takes place. Then second data is multiplied by the first data. Then addition of all those datas will take place to get the final result. So to execute an instruction, a number of steps are required. By the control unit of the processor, a number of control signals are generated for each step. To execute each instruction, if there is a separate electronic circuitry in the control unit which produces all the necessary signals, this approach of design of the control section of the processor is called RISC design. It is a hardware approach or it is also known as hardwired approach. So what is happening in RISC processor? How the instruction set is reduced? The processor will generate all the control signals to execute each step of your microprocessor, and then it is having a separate electronic circuitry in the control unit which will produce all the necessary signals. Whether first it has to read the data, then it has to perform operation, then again that data is to be stored in the memory, or it has to be identified by the address at which I want to store the data. So all these necessary actions will be takes place with the control unit. of the processor, then that processor is known as RISC processor. It is a hardwired approach. Examples of RISC processors are so many. You can see the diagrams on writing RISC processor in the net also. CISC processor. If the control unit contains a number of microelectronic circuitry to generate a set of control signals, and each microcircuitry is activated by a microcode. This design approach is called CISC design. This is a software approach of designing a control unit of the processor. So what here we are doing, we are not using any hardware approach, we are using a software approach which will generate all the signals. But how the signals will be generated? By using a microcircuitry which will produce one more code, and that code will generate all the outputs. So step by step we have to move here. So it is CISC processor. This is a software approach of designing a control unit of the processor. And examples of CISC processors, we all know Pentium processors are the CISC approach, Intel 386, Motorola, all are the CISC approach. So now this is difference between RISC and CISC. So one by one we can discuss this. CISC is having complex instruction set. By the name you can say RISC is having very simple instruction set. It consists of large number of registers. Here number of registers are less. It is a software based approach. It is a hardware based approach. So it is having large number of registers. Programs are larger. Programs are smaller because it is having a complex instruction set. Programs are smaller. Here programs are larger. Simple processor circuitry. Here processor circuitries are very simple and very small number of transistors are used because it is designed for easy approach. We are not complicating the instruction set over here, and neither the hardware complexity is increased. So very small number of transistors are used here, simple processor. So why we are having CISC processor? Because they can perform so many operations very easily. More RAM usage, little RAM usage, as circuitries having inbuilt circuitries there, many components are over there, so no usage of RAM is required, not much usage of RAM is required, so it is having little RAM usage. Simple addressing mode, variety of addressing modes, fixed length instructions, variable length instructions. Then fixed length instruction means if whenever we are using any instruction, it will be having fixed length. It requires 6 bits to perform that, or 6 instruction per cycle required. So it will always require 6. Here for different instruction, different length will be there. So variable length instruction. Fixed number of clock cycles for executing one instruction. See, to execute one instruction, it could require 0.1 millisecond, it can require 0.2 millisecond. So here in RISC processor, what is happening? It will require fixed number of clock cycles. I require 3 clock cycles to execute one instruction. So that 3 will be required for all, fixed number of clock cycles for executing one instruction. Here, variable number of clock cycles for each instruction. एक इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए हो सकता है कि कभी मुझे 3 क्लॉक साइकिल्स लगे और कभी मुझे 4 क्लॉक साइकिल्स नीडेड हो. So that is variable number of clock cycles for each instruction. So students, I think we should summarize the contents which today we have studied. In next class, we will continue with this processor. And I will show you some diagrams also. But actually, I don't have a very good internet today. So in next class, I will show you the diagram. So today what we studied different types of microprocessor, vectors, scalar, superscalar, array processor, RISC processor, CISC processor, its advantages, difference, we have studied. Before that, we studied the basics of microprocessor, features of microprocessor. We all know basic terms used in microprocessor. We all know instruction set, bus, IPC, clock speed, bandwidth, word length, and data types. Then we compared all the processors. These are all Intel processors we are using in day-to-day life, but we should know which processor we are using in our computer. We should know when it was invented. Is it 64-bit? Is it 32-bit? What memory capacities it is having? So we should know all these basic things. So this we have discussed. This chart is very important. Then we discuss the generation of microprocessor from 4-bit to 64-bit processors. Examples are elaborated in all the generations. And at starting of the class, we discussed what is microprocessor, then what is microcomputer. Microcomputer is a standalone processor because it is having everything. It is having input device, it is having output device, it is having memory unit and a microprocessor. But when we talk about the general question is asked in your exam, difference between microcomputer and microprocessor. Discuss microcomputer and how it uses microprocessor. So you should know microprocessor is a single unit which can't perform anything alone. It has to be connected with input output devices, then it will start working. So it is the brain of your system which will perform all the arithmetical logical unit. It will generate all the control signals within it. It will have a bus systems within it, a different register array set it is having. So this we have studied the block diagram of microprocessor, microcomputer. So in next class we will continue. And today, see please one of you will give me the attendance, because in next class I will be taking attendance according to your roll number, because right now I don't have your names. So do you know your roll number, students? Uh, you don't know roll numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So any one of you please note, कुछ बच्चे हाँ कह रहे, कुछ बच्चे ना कह रहे, then how I will take the attendance? It's not possible for me. So what we will do, one or two students just note down the names of the participants. I know it's a cumbersome work. You will send the list. Okay, that I will write in my register. But right now, how many students have attended the class, that data is needed for me. So participants showing is 34. So please check the whole list. The meeting is ended. Okay, recording completed. I will stop the recording now. So who will note name of the students? So that I will come to know how many students are attentive and attending the classes regularly, and which is very important. But see, university roll numbers won't work now, because in intermediate roll numbers are generally missing in that. So I want a serial number. So no problem, but please कोमल विशाल 2-3 बच्चे मिलके ये लिस्ट में से नाम लिख लो ना बेटा, and send me the list on WhatsApp. So that